Hello, Gunner James 105. There's my chair over there with the bear skin rug on it. And this is the familiar corner that I've done a video or two on, seated right over there. So I'll give a quick tour today. Just kind of breeze over some things that will later come out in a little more detail. I just was going to give you a peek here because this is kind of cool. This is a bamboo chair that folds up. So probably the only one in my neighborhood that would have that at a picnic. Nice comfortable chair. So much for that. I guess I'll just start right here with the Marks. This is from '63, the Gung Ho set. It's probably about 98% complete and very, very rare. Many years of looking on eBay or anywhere to find anything like that. So far, forget about it. It ain't there. And this one here, well, again, I've got to do a video on this, but you just have the old trigger over there, and that, the bullets will feed through. And I can get this thing to yeah, so little display of the Marks toys, and so get a little closer look at a lot of this stuff in another video, but I'll just skip over this corner here. And that's my archery target. I've dabbled a little in the archery. This here is part of the diving theme, which is just to my left, but that's my dad's from competition shooting way back with one of the rifles I've got hanging on the rack there, and the W.E. Fairbairn All in Fighting. Pretty amazing book if you're wanting to learn some techniques. You can practice with this knife or this practice gun, disarming. And so I think I've got to try that out on my son-in-law and see if I can't capture that from him. But yeah, just some certificates from my days in the Canadian Artillery Reserve, and significance here is that I have that shotgun that's in that picture just behind me, and my ID tags hanging there. This is from the this here is actually from yeah, 62 of 500 when they closed down the air base at the cadet camp I used to go to. They came out with this commemorative print. Picked that up quite a few years ago. But yeah, on the wall up here, now most of this goes in the safe. I've got it all set out here. When I want to display anything, I can hang it on the rack just to fill up the room. But my dad's number 4 Mark 1 Enfield up top there with the scope I added on that was my dad's hunting rifle, and I know my Uncle Louis used to use that, taking many a deer and moose and elk with that. Then of course it's sporterized, and beneath that is sporterized number 1 Mark 3. Oh, I think it's 1918. Very old single shot Cooey. Now these next series that's my dad's that he used in those competitions. The next one down, and my uncle's. Those are Canadian 22s. And an SKS, an Israeli Mauser. That's my Maltby Enfield there, and the Long Branch Enfield just below it. I got into a bit of, well, as a kid I always would go to the lake with flippers and scuba mask, and of course imagine I was on some sort of mission when I was a kid, and some of that stuff's from from then, and so just sort of a theme going here with the diving equipment, knife, and this very interesting mask, diving knife there again. And so we've got Sea Hunt, Lloyd Bridges, just a few comic books, and moving on over to the G.I. Joe Jeep. This one here is probably the most complete. Well, it is complete, and everything works. That howitzer will fire these plastic shells quite a distance, and then you've got your searchlight. It'll do. You can turn it on, and you can also do there's a Morse code on the back there, so you can do the Morse code, but it comes with that trailer. And you've got your pilot and your scuba diver. There's the original box, and that is one that you pump up with air, and then you get that propeller spinning, and it's made of foam. You just give it I think they call it air hog. There's my certificate. I joined the G.I. Joe Club when I was a kid. Got the certificate to prove it. And moving on to Stony Smith from about 1964 or 65. I have to check on that. The earlier models, you couldn't bend the knees. I think the year before. And G.I. Joe Sailor there. And yeah, so oh yes, we've got the Vietnamese pith helmet and some other items I've got. I don't know, I needed to have a fez. Got that from Turkey. Some knives. These are some nice German knives, hunting knives, and a little bit of a risque knife there. Yeah, a mermaid. And so yeah, moving on, I've got my spray. Is the beret I wore when I was in. I got to keep it, and there was 2 tent halves for the Canadian tent with a sleeping bag, the 82 pattern with 2 downfill sleeping bags, a liner, a air mattress, a hood, all complete. A couple of Austrian tent halves there that come with pegs and poles. There's the that's a pellet gun there, very accurate pellet gun. Some old vintage boxes for models, and then there's this down here. That's just a homemade thing that basically made up of this and that, and doesn't shoot anything, can't shoot anything. It's just something someone made with this gigantic leather holster. And then speaking of bears, that's a black bear. This is a black bear. Black bears can come in many colors, but it just sort of ties the room together. And down over this way, well, I guess I'm down on the floor here. There's my large pack, and it's got all the straps. Don't know where to put the stand yet, so there it is, my parachute. Some ration packs. That one on the left is the one they use now. I was given that by an artilleryman not that long ago. Just asked for it. I mean, once a gunner, always a gunner. He wasn't having a problem parting with it, but it's all sealed, never opened. Some tent poles and tent pegs. I think that's either German or Swiss, and it's mid-40s on that. And then I assembled. I got this display case from work. They weren't using it anymore, and this is full of old World War II Canadian items. That's a toy helmet back there. That's made of metal, and up top we've got old British type pith helmet, and that's the Mark III. And then we move on to Mark, sorry about the light there. Mark IIs across the top. And I've got a 35 pattern, sorry, 1935 Wolseley pith helmet there. And in the back, I guess I was inspired by the Colgate's TV series to make my own Red Cross package, so I just made that up. And various civilian gas mask with the box in the background there. And this is actually a Canadian World War II flashlight in that box. I've never opened it. It's kind of popped open on the end, but it's all wax sealed, and so I've never opened it up. It's like it was, except for that opening the day it was made for the Canadian soldier, Second World War. Bit of kit that I've collected, and still not quite complete. Still adding items, trying to find items yet, but again, within a budget. So yeah, that's that. And then up top, kind of got a little disorganized or crazy here. It's a little loaded with stuff, and starting to get a little dusty. But these are just BB guns. They're not real. Even though this wouldn't be silenced, if it were real, I made that silencer just for the look or whatever. But that's the beret I picked up a couple weeks ago, or last weekend, I guess. Stuck a cap badge on that I happen to have laying around. I'm looking for the Royal Canadian Army Service Corps badge. I'll get one yet. So yeah, there's a Swiss helmet. That's the actual helmet I wore when I was in. I got to swap another one and keep that one, because you got to turn all your kit in when you're done. And so again, I'm prepared to do some a little more detailed videos on some of this stuff. The bit of a helmet collection. That'd be Swiss and French, the old Second World War Adrian, and that's a Polish, probably 50s, and Yugoslavian. And down this way we old pair of binoculars. This is my P1 or P38 holster, and my French Kepi, French Foreign Legion. And moving on, my Fairbairn and Sykes. Now that's a replica. It's not the real thing. That's the real thing. I'm trying to get it to work. It makes a sound. It but it doesn't. It's got the action sound, but it doesn't light up. So still working on that. And just a little decoration here with a little cannon, and there's a extra Mauser bayonet. And a gas mask. That's from the 82 pattern. And I've actually collected the entire 82 pattern, every piece of equipment that was issued, except for what is prohibited, which is the FN. I can't buy an FN. I'm not allowed to. I don't have a license for it, unfortunately. So carrying on, this is an artillery. He's a good friend of mine. He's like 95 years old, and he was with the Canadian artillery. That's his dress uniform. He was a captain, and he gave that to me since I guess he didn't have any relatives that were really interested. That's the uniform there that I would have worn. Now that one I've purchased to assemble the whole kit. This here would be sort of dark because of bombardier rank would have been on there when actually my rank was gunner with the 78th Field, 78th Battery, 20th Field Regiment, Canadian Artillery, and I have everything complete from canteen to rain gear to you name it, knife, fork, spoon, it's all there. And then as close as I can get to a 37 pattern is a 49 pattern. So now that shirt, of course, is not correct, but the uniform is corporal. And trying to finish off the webbing. I've got a few more things I'm looking for: canteen and frog for the bayonet scabbard, and but it even has the suspenders and a 49 pattern Canadian. I mean, other than the way the collar fastens, they're pretty much a 37 pattern. And this one here is getting complete. I have the number 2 Mark 1 Enfield to fit into that holster over there, where that lanyard is going to. The canteen hangs on the back, and there's the bayonet scabbard there. I'm going to find some binoculars for that empty case. But there's the compass pouch on the left and the ammo pouch on the right. This would be a 105 howitzer, usually for smoke or white phosphorus, whatever. Usually a special round would go into that type of container. This here, I think you've seen on my previous video, there's some Bren magazines and my wool sweater, and this here, now that's Ted Peck used to have a television show in Canada, and he's no longer living. He's passed away some years ago, but there was a sportsman show back in about 1975, and I had won this. This is his signature, his autograph, and he would do fishing and hunting. And I'll just go back to this here because I had picked this up. His main sponsor, of course, was Sportsman Cigarettes, and so I happened to find a package, empty package, of course, cigarettes with that poster, but interesting to me anyways. And just old bell I got from Holland from an antique store, and a very much dead deer. And this here would be this is 69 recurve by Bear. That's my one hobby. Of course, I can't have anything new. I have to have antique. These arrows are new, but that's an old 1950s scabbard to go with that. And there's my old Elmer Fudd or whatever. This is actually the hat I wear if I go hunting. That's an old vintage hunting hat. So yeah, there's it goes on and on. We've got some models over here. So of course you'd have a bit of a dogfight if these two came together. And then go up the wall. Oh, there's an old poster I forgot was hanging there. That's not really a poster, it's just a copy of a poster in small form, and your young whitetail. But I've got to come down. This is about a 16 by 8 net, camouflage net that I've got hanging here, and some traps and some snowshoes. And that's my grandpa's 1913 Remington shotgun. I've tried it out. That's my shotgun when I was young. But yeah, some different forms of snowshoes. So there's a few there. My coonskin hat, probably rabbit fur, not coonskin. Military snowshoes. And so I got to back out of this corner here, swing around, and just a collection of ration packs and some books, and there's some gloves and a toque, probably a scarf down there, some thermoses with their covers, 82 pattern, some old thermoses, and this and that. Kind of a cool, there's a stack of them there. There's probably about 10 piled on top of each other, these old targets. And, aircraft identifying chart, I think that's 50s, and then this old vintage game, the original box. This here would I've only got one of the darts, but it would shoot. You could load 3, shoot them at this tin target here. And yeah, so up the wall we go. Just an old painting. I think it was done by a wife's relative. Pheasant, another one of these gung-ho machine guns. It works as well. A few pieces there. These are shells and casings. My Uncle Louis's old painting. I inherited it, so it has a place of honor there. And then I've got the little remote control Chinook there, rescue helicopter. I've got a larger version. These things are hard as hell to fly. This one here is the code blinker set from the 60s. Everything works. It's all in there. It's all complete. This is Boris. You would take Boris's head off and there'd be another leader, and then you take his head all the way down to Lenin. And so my drink of choice, right there. It's an old vintage bottle, kind of a green color. And this would be a child's gas mask, Russian. And you've got, this is my Tokarev holster with belt. There's a Mosin Nagant ammo pouch there. There's a canteen. Yeah, there it is. Canteen. Old Russian gas mask. Well, I better drop down to the Ushanka. I believe that's how you say it. That's a couple of old Canadian games. I've got the two versions. There was an Army, and then there was Air Force, and I'm missing the Navy. I'm still looking, but these are early 60s Canadian games. And that's an unfinished U-boat model there. Got up the wall, old India type sword, touristy type thing. Mother got that for me a long time ago. This is a pronghorn with a hunting horn next to it there. Some more 105 brass casings. If I go down, I've got a shelf and then a shelf and then a shelf, and so we've got some face camo and some goggles, and there's some Blanco I got back there. That's World War II American. It's got a knife, fork, and spoon in there. And signal mirror, old shovel, World War II American shovel. Bit more of the 82 pattern. That's a camo cover for that helmet there, and complete gas mask from Finland. There's my combat boots, some old hats, some German shovels. That's an American pickaxe there. A couple more Austrian tabs there. And it's kind of getting dark back in this corner here, but there's a stack of ammo boxes. They're, oh yes, I have some old leather leggings or puttees, or however you want to say it, or however it is pronounced. Some different ammo boxes. Over here I've got, there'd be a German gas masks there with an old compass, and not even sure what's behind that corner, but this here, I love it. My mom found that. That's 1918 World War I ammo pouch, German ammo pouch. Aachen, Germany, it says on the back. And this is an authentic piece. Kid in high school, I don't think his dad knew that he was taking that to school and selling it to me for $5, but good deal for me, and probably never told his dad where it went. So this is a repurposed M40 Norwegian decal on the side there. Both sides are covered in paint, and I started to try and take some of that paint off to just see that decal. And so then up we go. That is not real, that's a replica, and that's a BB gun. That's a replica of the 35 pattern. Pretty nice replica though. Very, very nice replica. It's as close as the real thing as replicas go. A little bit of, sorry about the shadows. A little bit of Russia here. A little bit more Russia. I put that decal on. I'm not happy with it. It's probably going to come off. And a Pilotka. Needed that. A little bit of a safari theme with a mosquito net, safari mosquito net, and old movie, Ramar of the Jungle. Yes, there's something poking out here. I'll get to that. We got to come down here, and there's my my bug house, another kepi, and some vintage targets. This here is a gas hood. That's from that old fella, his cap, and so yeah, there's a stack of ammo boxes. These ones are all empty. And winter gear for the Canadian 82 pattern, from work gloves to some throwing knives in there, and my mucklucks, gauntlets or mitts. There's a commando type scarf that kind of made into a toque there. There's the Avro Arrow Canadian jet. And cleaning kits and first aid kits. And so yeah, up here we've got, I'll probably have to back up a little bit, but yeah, Siamese, well, I guess there's a sword up there. Siamese Enfield. Everything's got long bayonets on it, but the Siamese 1919, that's a story in itself. 9130 Mosin Nagant. That one's about a 43, I think. And then below that is a Polish 1950 version of the M44. That thing's mint. And then my K31 Swiss scabbard, and of course over here we've got bayonet. And yeah, so I think that pretty much completes the tour, or the circle round of all the stuff that's crammed in here. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I can't stop this collection illness. Some mucklucks, little duck decoy. I mean, actually, that's a closet, and that closet is full of stuff. A lot of the 82 pattern winter gear, winter camo, parkas, you name it. So yeah, it's getting a little crowded, but I hope you enjoyed the little tour. As I say, I'm gonna do a bit more detail on some of the items that maybe hasn't been done before. So for now, Gunner James 105 signing out. Thank you.